There's a big stand right next to it, so I just got my shirt on. And there were mice like right under it, and they were really cute. And she's like, Bree's like, share some of your churro. I'm like, no, my churro, my churro. I don't share my churro. It's kind of like my Ben and Jerry's, like that's mine. Like I'm generally very sharing and everything and gracious and all that, but no, it's mine. My bubbles. And so the mice kept coming out, and it was really cute. But mice are mean. People don't know that. Rats are sweet. Mice are mean. Let's see what else did we see. Okay. We went on Shipwreck Rapids, and it was like a 2-hour wait because stupid Atlantis was um closed for technical difficulties. So it started up just as we were leaving. We're like, great. So we have everybody in basically SeaWorld waiting to go on Shipwreck Rapids because it's a pretty hot day, so it's a good way to cool down. However, I was expecting, get because it really depends what seat you're in, depends how wet you get. Now, I ended up getting the seat where you get soaked. Two good waves come flowing in, and I was gone. And wearing jeans and a t-shirt, yeah, I got wet, and Bree's brother and I were the ones that got the most water at us. And then, of course, I'm just like, and Bree was like, I would have traded seats with you, but the guy was there, and I'm like, you did not say anything about that seat being the one that got the most water. So, I ended up coming off very, very, very wet. But it did feel good for a little bit, except for my pants, because they were all like, wet, and walking felt weird, and so, uh, we were singing to pass the time, and I was throwing out all my Celtic Woman stuff. I got in Orinoco Flow, I started that, and they're like, oh, that's that weird song, and I'm like, well, at least you know it. And we were doing all the different, like, annoying songs, like, this is the song that gets on everybody's nerves, and all that one, and then we got to the Small World, and so Bree's like, no, 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 I'm not listening. And so then I'm like, no, 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 I have to do the part, I have to do the thing. And she's like, yeah, I'm not listening. I'm like, okay, it's a small world after all, no, no, anything but that. I have a lovely bunch of coconut peanut beans. That one. So she's like, you watch Lion King too much. I'm like, I didn't watch it recently. That's one of my favorite lines of the whole thing is that I've got that lovely bunch of coconuts. Yeah. So that was my trip to SeaWorld. I think I got everything. We didn't go into any of the shows because I've already seen Believe, and yeah, it was good, but I wanted to go see the other stuff. So, oh, I didn't see the horses. It doesn't make sense to me that horses are at SeaWorld because they smell. I didn't want to smell the stinky horses while I was at SeaWorld. I wanted to smell the fishy smell. I think that's it. Yeah, that was my day at SeaWorld. It was fun. Oh, I have to tell you all the fish that got named Lisa. Okay, so we were in the shark one, and so I'm like, okay, well, which one's Lisa? Because it's by personality of the fish and stuff, and colors and different things. So I'm like, we've seen Demon Shark, and so we're like, okay, no, that's not going to be named Lisa. And so there are a bunch of all these great whites, and so I'm just like, yeah, they all look the same. But then there was this one really cool spotted one, so I'm like, oh, that spotted one is Lisa. And oh, this was really cool. Okay, so we just got into the shark encounter, and so there's a little tank, and there's just a bunch of little sharks just swimming around. It's probably you know, the thing that goes under it. But anyway, so there's like probably 8 or 9 sharks in the tank. And so I find the biggest one. I'm like, okay, well, first I'm like, which one's Lisa? And so Bree's like, that one's Lisa. And I'm like, oh. And and this big shark just comes swimming up right next to us. And like, oh, hi, Lisa. And it goes and it waved. It was so cool. It just came up to the surface and stuck its fin out and waved at me. I was like, okay, yeah, that one's awesome. And then I just went on and attempted to name them all. The one with the they all kind of had black little things. So I'm like, oh, the one with the black little thing on its fin is Murray. And I'm like, oh, wait. So I think they got named multiple times. So there was a Maraid and Chloe and all that. Yeah. The manatees were the biggest one was Lisa. The Chloe and Maraid were hanging out with her. So it was cool. I think that's all the significant namings. uh, yeah, that was my trip to SeaWorld.